Hey everyone. So I just got back from taking my mother for cataract replacement surgery on her second eye. So now she's all done. It was a pretty boring procedure, always a good thing when it comes to surgeries. Her original appointment was canceled because of the COVID lockdown, so they've just started resuming normal operations again. Well, more normal. The doctor's office was very busy, probably because they're 2 months behind schedule at this point. The way they had it set up, every patient and their driver was screened in the breezeway of the waiting room for COVID symptoms. Then the patients went inside, and everyone else was told to wait in their cars. Since this concerns the gym, I noticed that their COVID policies were far less comprehensive than the policies we've outlined in the email to the membership. Mind you, this is a medical facility that is performing surgical operations, primarily cataract replacement surgeries like my mom was getting, which is precisely the demographic most at risk. They only asked each person 4 questions. Have you had any fever, respiratory symptoms in the past 2 weeks? Have you been around anyone who has had those symptoms in the last 2 weeks? Have you been diagnosed with COVID-19? And have you been in contact with anyone who was diagnosed with COVID-19? That was it. Then they took my mother's temperature, but not mine, interestingly enough. They took the temperature of both people waiting behind us. Oh, and remember how all the drivers were told to wait in their cars? Most of those drivers ended up going inside anyway to use the bathroom. Anyway, I think this really says something about how seriously Sully is taking this situation, and just how important we feel training is to maintaining long-term health and wellness in our membership. It will always be safer to just stay in your home in times like this, so if you're going to risk exposure, it better be for something that you can justify. And we feel that training is that important. And now that we have these procedures in place, I think that we'll be ready if this situation happens again in the future. While I was waiting in my car, I was people watching, and it was sad to see that at least half of the patients showing up had walkers or canes. They told my mother her procedure was boring because she was one of the few patients who didn't have a laundry list of other ailments that would compromise her healing, and a list of prescriptions that had to be taken into account as well. We know that this is what puts people at the biggest risk, starting at a disadvantage. Many of these conditions can't really be helped, like if you have asthma, for instance, but there's no excuse for frailty, because there is something we can do about that. What we do in the gym is our best chance to stay durable when sickness comes around like it does. And that's why reopening the gym as soon as possible is so important to us. So, we'll see you soon.